All right, and welcome back to another episode of the Dr. Greg Show. This is a must-watch episode. The information that I'm going to talk about in today's episode trumps everything. I don't care what bioidentical hormones you're taking. I don't care what your workout program is, what your diet regime is. This trumps absolutely everything. And we're going to talk about stress, and we're going to talk about the pathway of how like cortisol and DHEA and pregnenolone alter all of these things. You see, the reality is this: you could be that woman that no matter how clean you eat, no matter how amazing your workout program is, you could still be literally running on fumes. You see, so I had a woman last week said, I think my body forgot how to relax, Dr. Greg. And the reality is she's right. Like, it wasn't willpower. It was her ability to work through hormones. So we want to give people the ability to walk through that and have that ability to understand, what does that look like? Just turn the lights on. So if you see the change, my bad. Regardless, we're just shooting raw here today, folks. At the end of the day, if your nervous system can't look around and say, I'm good and I'm chill and I'm in a space that's good for me and my family, yes, is working out important? Yes. Is a healthy diet important? Yes. However, this trumps all of it. You see, many women in perimenopause, they're running households. They're balancing busy professional careers. They're potentially caregiving for aging parents. Stress isn't this occasional thing. It's a constant component. So, and here's the thing we have to understand too, is stress is not just like relational or emotional stress. There can also be physical stress or chemical exposure stress, financial stress, relational stress, especially with those that you love dearly the most. I also know that a lot of you, ladies, lovingly, you've pushed through. You have just white-knuckled, put your nose down, and respectfully, you're like, well, what is option B, Dr. Greg? Like, what else would I do inside of that? So it's really been a survival strategy. And what's happening, because you've more than likely burnt that cortisol candle at both ends for so many years, and now that you're in perimenopause, where your adrenals are actually supposed to step up and start doing some more work, and so then other hormones like progesterone are starting to drop, and you're like, uh-oh, the wheels are falling off. You see, stress it's not just a mental thing. Every organ in your body physiologically has a response to how your body walks through stress. So again, let's go through the hormone cascade. I think it's important for us to understand this, right? All of our hormones start with cholesterol. They come down then through the thyroid, rate limiting step inside of that. And by the way, there's reverse feedbacks too. From the thyroid, it then goes to what's called the mother hormone, which is pregnenolone. Pregnenolone then has three options. It can go over to progesterone, which, ladies, progesterone is the brakes. It's designed to get you to go, I'm good, I'm settled, I'm secure, I'm not anxious, I can fall asleep. It goes down into DHEA, which supports your androgens like testosterone. Testosterone says, I'm resilient, let's go. Libido, drive, those aspects. Or if your body needs cortisol because you are just burning the candle at both ends, there's something called pregnenolone steal, where pregnenolone can actually go sideways or kittywampus into cortisol. And then we have this cortisol dysregulation, and then the body is literally like looking over its shoulder saying, I'm stressed, there's a lot going on, what do I do? So we have to understand that there's a way that God designed that hormone path to go. But again, so let's say that pregnenolone isn't able to go over to progesterone. Irritability, anxious, crazy second half of your cycle. A lot of times women have heavy or irregular cycles, feeling like crazy sauce, like a week to days leading up into your cycle. I had a woman last week. She's like, literally from the time I ovulate, like it is a crazy month for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, girl, like that's half of every month for you. So those are really important things to understand. The other aspect, when cortisol's high, we understand that it suppresses the conversion in your thyroid from T4 to T3. So what happens then, because your body says, I'm stressed, I'm kind of in fight or flight mode, or not kind of, maybe I am. And then when you suppress the conversion of T4 into T3, ladies, now we're slowing down metabolism. We are a lot of times women are feeling stuck, bowels slow down, dry hair, dry skin, brittle hair falling out. So here's a piece of research from the 2019 study in Frontiers in Endocrinology found that chronic physiological stress can disrupt the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. You guys have heard me talk a lot about the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, hypothalamic pituitary thyroid, and hypothalamic pituitary ovary axes. Like this is how the brain, through the master gland, the pituitary, orchestrates all of these hormonal activities. So it says it results in altered thyroid and ovarian hormonal signaling, especially pronounced in women during midlife transitions. And I'll get an amen from you guys inside of this whole midlife transition thing. The reality is your allostatic load, the weight on your proverbial table, trumps all of the hormone optimization opportunity. So here's a little case study. I had a 48-year-old female. She was a teacher, always on the go. Yet she controlled the variables that she could control. Perfect diet, perfect supplements. But she's like, Doc, I am literally running on fumes. So what we did, we ran some labs. I love me some good labs. And what we found was that she had she had a normal TSH, she had okay T4, T3, but she had an elevated reverse T3. So what does that tell us? That tells us that stress is essentially robbing the ability of the body to use free T3, which is your bioavailable active thyroid hormone. We also saw that she had low progesterone and she had all of the symptoms. So we have a hormone symptom tracker that talks about all of the progesterone type components. And then she actually chose to do some advanced testing. She did something called the hormone zoomer test, and her poor cortisol curve. So when you wake up, cortisol should be at about a midpoint. Within 30 minutes, it should raise about 80 to 150%. It's called a cortical awakening response. And then over the course of the day, ladies, it should drop off to a low level at the end of the day so that you can be like, I'm tired and I can go to bed and I can fall asleep instead of being tired but wired. So you're like tired, but I'm just anxious, like my body's ramped. I can't get there, right? So her body, once we had this understanding, then we started to work with her. And we got her from a fight or flight mode into what we call a ventral parasympathetic mode, where she could literally look around and say, I'm good. And I have tools now. By the way, respectfully, there's no magic pill. We call them God's and Grandma's tools in this practice. These are things that are free for the most part, or many times extremely cheap, that can go in and soothe the nervous system. Returned her sleep, her inflammation dropped, her weight started to balance out. And here's the thing. You can't heal if your body thinks it's on fire. I mean, if your body thinks that there's a threat or it has to protect itself, it's just not going to heal, ladies. So let's talk about stress for a second. What I need to say about stress is that your brain, your hypothalamus, your amygdala, these parts of your brain, they can't distinguish between relational stress, inflammation stress, financial stress, because there could be toxic stress. There could be blood sugar swings. There could be poor sleep. All of those things are perceived in the brain essentially as the same thing. So when the body's stress load exceeds its drainage and repair capacity, hormones can't balance. And honestly, if you think about it, a lot of times a woman's body will intelligently shift her hormones out of balance because think about this. Think of like a survival mechanism. Your body is always looking around, especially, and let's say survival mechanism, let's say you're in childbearing years and you want to conceive a baby, but your body's like, holy Toledo, I have so much going on right now. I have underlying infection, underlying toxicity. I'm not sleeping good. My relationship, I'm not sure how steady or secure it is. My relationships, right? Ladies, think about this. Would it make sense that a woman's body could actually intelligently shift her hormones out of fertility? Absolutely. You see, balanced hormones are a sign that the body can literally look around and say, I'm good. So many cases, and over years of working with fertility cases, it's many times. And number one thing is that nervous system says, this isn't a good time to conceive a baby. So just my heart is, don't skip over this episode. This is so, so, so important. Okay, let's talk about God's and Grandma's tools. Breath work. Huge fan of breath work. We have to slow down. Nasal breathing. If we can, we put our tongue up behind our top teeth and we nasally breathe. In the book Breath, they talked about doing actual blood tests on nasal breathers versus oral breathers, and they found that oral breathing actually stressed the nervous system, where nasal breathing is actually more soothing to the nervous system. Some people go as far as taping their mouth shut at night, and mouth taping, and don't go buy the expensive tapes. You can just buy the 3M micropore cheap paper tape, put a little chapstick on your lips, but also don't try it right before you go to bed. Test it out through the day. So nasal breathing, breath work, whether it's box breathing. I'm a big fan of Wim Hof breath work, to get our nervous system into a state where it can look around and say, I'm actually good right now. Prayer, a belief in a higher power, like, Lord, help. I've got a lot going on. Help me make sense of this. Help me, give me peace beyond understanding. Give me an understanding that you are in control and I've got a lot going on right now. And Lord, give me peace, right? So, or however you might have a spiritual conversation, we want to have our body's ability to just slow down, to look around, to be. Pause rituals. When's the last time you spent 2 minutes doing nothing? And if you're like, can't remember, try it. I mean, if you have to, put a timer on your phone and just breathe. No sounds. Maybe you have to go into the bathroom and lock yourself in so you're not being disrupted. But what does it look like to just spend 2 minutes in silence and breath? And you're going to have thoughts that come into your mind. We call those monkey brain. Let them pass through. Just be. Start with 2 minutes. Move up from there. What is your morning ritual? What's the first thing that you do in the morning? I mean, God designed the sun to rise in the east for a reason. And one cool little way to help reset those cortisol rhythms is go outside and take in the sun. I wouldn't say look straight into it, but allow the sunlight to hit your eyes. And even if you live in an area like the ground is frozen here in Minnesota right now, so I wouldn't suggest going out barefoot on your frozen grass, but maybe you could do some grounding. Maybe there's just a way to go out and just take 2 minutes of breath work and just be grateful for the day, be grateful for the new opportunities in that day, and allow the sunshine to help reset your system. Nutritionally, balance those blood sugars, ladies. Optimize protein. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is what you want to shoot for. Now, if you're a long ways from that, grace to you. Don't make it up overnight, but find ways that you can prioritize protein. Watch the simple carbohydrates, those things that spike the blood sugars. We want steady, eddy, balanced meals. Even skipping breakfast for some of you, not a great idea. I also want to just hold some space for how you may talk to yourself. I've called it the harsh inner critic. And I think at times we all have one of them. And it doesn't matter who's listening to this, whether you're a woman in perimenopause or your wife's going through perimenopause or your partner is. How do you talk to yourself? What are those words that you say to yourself? Are they judgmental? Are they downright mean and nasty? Are you speaking life to yourself? Are you speaking life to others? The power of the tongue, the Bible says, holds great, great power. So the first thing I would do is ask, what are you saying to yourself? And if you heard that same comment to someone that you love, what would you say to that other person? And maybe you need to start talking back to yourself. Maybe you need to check that voice inside of your head that is living rent-free and not speaking life to you. Ladies, you're not weak. You're biologically wired to survive. The goal is now to teach your body that you're safe, that you're good, that you're where you need to be. So many women assume they're burned out. They assume that this candle is burnt out. There's no way to get any wax back, and it's done. They're cooked, they're baked, done. And I just want to say that that's not the truth. And we've seen that hundreds and hundreds of times in our practice where women just slow down, agree to a journey, a process, progress, not perfection, and they just slowly heal. Because what I want to tell you is the body's designed to heal. Cortisol dysregulation is reversible. There's really no such thing as like, nope, they're done, sorry. It doesn't work that way. So I just want you to know that. Okay, some takeaways. Chronic stress steals from other hormones, especially progesterone and the thyroid. Emotional, chemical, physical stress all count. Your body doesn't distinguish between those stressors. You can't heal in a body that feels unsafe. And respectfully, some of you are maybe in an unsafe environment. Seek help. Maybe you're in relationships that are just, seek help, reach out. You're worthy of love and affection and care. And because if you're in a spot that's actually unsafe, like ask for help. My heart's cry is to ask for help. If you are in a situation that is safe, but your body thinks it's unsafe, grace to you. Acknowledge the small benefits. Acknowledge the situations where maybe your body thought it wasn't safe, but now it is. And step by step, your body's always looking around saying, am I good? Am I good? Am I good? Small daily resets help control that cortisol rhythm. Breath, prayer, movement, protein, light. They are all just so necessary. So ladies, this is the keystone to your health. I don't care what fancy hormones you're taking. I don't care what your supplement program is. Honestly, don't care what your workout program is. If your nervous system can't look around and say, I'm good, and I'm actually good. Until then, everything is going to feel like you're throwing things up against the wall to see what sticks. So if this episode brought up some questions or like, hey, Dr. Greg, what about this? We would love to give you a chance. So submit your questions. There's a link in the show notes. I every once in a while, I'm actually going to do like full-on Q&A sessions on this podcast. So if there's a question or a comment, reach out to us. Our goal is to serve you. Our goal is to say like, hey, we've been up and down this road many, many times. Help us come alongside of you. Help us get you steered in the right direction. Help us allow you to live life on your terms. So here's what we're going to do. Upcoming episodes are going to have all kinds of information. Again, if you have questions, go into the show notes, listen to post episodes. And if you've found value in this, like, subscribe, share episodes with your friends. And it is truly an honor to serve you and your family. So that is it for another episode of The Dr. Greg Show. Stay tuned for more.